Vane's iconic "You Look Tasty" line has been dubbed into multiple languages, but nothing could ever beat the original. And that wasn't just my opinion. I'm stating facts. And since I'm so nice, I'll be explaining it to you in the simplest way possible. So you have to pay attention, sweetie. Let's listen to what Vane sounds like in his original language, which is in Mandarin Chinese.
You look tasty.
Anyway, that voice, that line delivery, it's a balanced mix of sexiness and freakiness. It's creepylicious. And that deep voice
Gave me you know what.
makes him sound manlier. It's deep, but not too deep. He actually sounds so sassy that you can imagine such a voice belonging to a handsome and stylish young man. Listening to such a voice may sound a bit intimidating, but if he is saying gentle words, it would instead sound so pleasing to the ears that it makes you want more of it, like you're drawn to it. And before you know it, you've already fallen under his spell. That's how dangerously seductive his voice is. But the suspicious sound effect before he delivered his line and that slightly raspy voice
Tasty.
could give you the chills.
Tasty.
He sounded like he wants to devour you, both in a sexual sense and in a literal sense. It's confusing and nerve-wracking to guess which one it is. And his random comments about human flesh are not helping in making people less uncomfortable. As Tung Xiaosher had noticed, Vane makes strange analogies. Well, they are strange for normal people. Or rather, ordinary people. Vane has this tone that gives the impression that he is someone of high class, of noble status, an elite. He has his own world and his own rules and even his own language. No, he's not just a bilingual who speaks in English or in Chinese from time to time. Even people who speak those languages won't be able to understand him. Mere humans will only find his words either misleading or disturbing. The only exceptions are Xiafei and Liu Xiao. But it doesn't matter to Vane if the humans cannot adapt to his language. So for Vane to sound vain, the voice and line delivery need to fall under the following criteria: sexiness, freakiness, and language. The sexiness and freakiness factors need to be in harmony. In other words, a Vane voice should be both sexy and freaky. For instance, well, I cannot really voice guys, but I suppose I can provide an example if I try to sound like a female version of Vane, which I am. So, if I try to sound sexy without sounding freaky, it will be like, "You look tasty." But if it's just freaky, it will be like, "You look tasty." See, there's a difference, right? But if I try to mix the sexiness and the freakiness, it will sound like this: "You look tasty."
Tasty.
Tasty. So, that's why his dubs need to be perfect in all these criteria to sound as vain as possible. And if we make it a grading system wherein the perfect score is 10 stars, then each category will be having 3 stars each. As for the remaining star, only the original can get that one. Why? Well, only the Chinese version has the direct influence from Li Haoling. The holy approval of Linklick's creator is a blessing only bestowed upon the original, as far as I know. And that is why there's no dub that could get this tasty, perfect score. Understood? Now, before we look into each dub, make sure to remember that I will be judging them based on the same criteria. I know it's not possible to be objective on how sexy and freaky the voice is, so I won't be. The scoring shall depend on how it made me feel. I got hooked? Then it's sexy. I got goosebumps? Then it's freaky. It's fine if you don't agree with me. I don't care anyway, so you have no choice but to trust my judgment. Oh, it's actually possible to go technical on the language criteria. If there's no change on the original "You Look Tasty" dialogue word per word, it's an automatic 3 stars. However, on every change, no matter how little, like an additional word, there's going to be a deduction of stars. What? Oh, some of you may say that the reason behind the changes are mainly because of the mouth flapping is not synchronized with those 3 words. Right. I understand the reason, but it was still unnecessary. Why? Well, the original didn't even worry about it anyway, so why should the other dubs be concerned about it? That exact sentence was important enough to retain that the original let this synchronization error happen. It's clearly an iconic line that cannot be amended. Changing it would make it unaligned to the vain language. Now, do you see what I mean? Well, you should, because I am now going to judge each dub in alphabetical order.
You're a scrumptious morsel, aren't you?
The English dub made it completely different. I know it's the same point, and I know the complicated vocabulary is the only way to show some language barrier when there's none, but it's still not right. As explained earlier, changing the vain language is unacceptable. Zheng Xiaoshi might not be as innocent as he appears, but he's an idiot, so it can still work, you know. Some of the voice actors actually wanted to keep the original line, but it was still changed, so the damage has been done. It's great that the English dub watchers still liked the changed dialogue nonetheless, but those unfortunate souls had still missed the legendary line. What a pity. Sorry not sorry. For language, it can only have 1 star. About the freakiness though, I didn't feel a hint of that. Vane's English voice actors sounded perfectly creepylicious in other scenes though.
You want more? Very well.
But it wasn't applied on this line. He could have said it as something like, "What a scrumptious morsel." But he didn't. Though, there's something that sounds creepy at the beginning.
You're a
Fine, 1 star for freakiness.
scrumptious morsel, aren't you?
But oh, I really like how sexy his voice is. 3 stars for sexiness, baby.
You look very tasty.
The French dub is sexy, but it feels lacking for some reason. Maybe I have set my standards too high because I've heard that French is the sexiest language in the world. Oh wait, I suppose it's referring to the French language itself, not people from France speaking in English. Let's hear him speak in his local language.
C'est ça, bonjour.
Oh, yes. Now that's sexy. But no, for now, I may only judge on the tasty line. So 2 stars. The freakiness factor was lacking too, but since it's at least a bit more intimidating compared to the earlier dub, I'm giving it 2 stars. As for the language factor, there was an additional very, but even though the tastiness was elevated, it's still a change in script. And rules are rules, so -1 star.
You look tasty.
Yes, very good. The Indonesian dub understood the assignment. So, I will forgive the tasty sounding like testy because it didn't change the script, which is what most dubs had done. So, giving it 3 stars for the language. And similar to the original, it was a beautiful blend of sexy and freaky. So, yes, giving 3 stars on the other categories too.
You look tasty.
Oh, thankfully, the Japanese dub didn't change anything neither. He didn't even sound like he's speaking in English. So, perfect 3 stars for the language, of course. But for the freaky level, although it lacks the raspy voice, he still sounds quite dangerous. Like it will be convincing to imagine that kind of voice from a good-looking gangster, which he is, since Vane is a mafia leader, but still not scary enough, so 2 stars. As for sexiness, Japanese voice actors are already experts on this.
You guys alright?
Of course, 3 stars for sexiness. But you know, although I really like Vane's Japanese voice actor, in my humble opinion, they should have casted Miyano Mamoru. He's a master of voicing characters that are as tasty as Vane. It would have been phenomenal, but sadly, it's not him. What a pity.
You look so tasty.
Okay, the Brazilian dub got the freakiness level perfectly. Perfect 3 stars, of course. However, it seems to have focused on sounding freaky, like he sounded raspy all throughout.
Tasty.
So the sexiness was not on the same level. It was so close. But there's no way they will cast a Vane voice that only sounds scary. Let's check out his other lines.
I am Vin. Nice to meet you too.
Oh my god, I'm in love with that! Why wasn't there a hint of this beautiful voice on the tasty line? Why? Oh, no choice. 2 stars. Anyway, for the language, because of the additional so, sorry dear, automatic 2 stars.
You do look tasty.
That sounded scary. The freakiness level on the Latin American Spanish dub is on another level. I want to give it 4 stars. But to be fair to the others, highest is 3 stars. The sexiness is not bad. Well, it's not my type of sexy, but it was just the right level, on par with the creepiness.
Tasty.
So 3 stars should be fine. Although I wonder how he sounds like in his local language.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Oh, now that's pretty flirtatious. As for the language, you know the drill. The additional do does give it an automatic 2 stars.
Nhìn cậu cũng ngon á.
What? It's not even in English at all. Why? I'm so upset. I don't understand the language, though Google translates it as, you look delicious too. To the people who understand Vietnamese, is it accurate? Was it indeed as weird as Vane was supposed to be? I'll assume this is accurate, so I suppose I'll give it 1 star. But it's still a shame that they changed it. After all, even the original didn't make Vane speak the show's main language, so that doesn't give any other dub the right to change it. And then, this kind of deep voice made him sound sexy and freaky at the same time. So the balance is nice, but it's not enough. So 2 stars for each. And I think I've managed to cover all the available dubs as of March 2026. That's a total of 8 languages, including the original. But did I miss anything? Well, I've heard that there had been an Arabic and Thai link-click dub in the earlier seasons, but no Britain Arc version yet. As for the Cantonese dub, although there had been a special screening of the Britain Arc in Hong Kong, sadly, it doesn't seem to be available online yet. So, to fans who were able to see it, how was it? Anyway, even though I had been disappointed with some of the dubs, I actually like all of them. I appreciate all languages after all. However, this video aims to find which dub is the closest to the original perfect vein. And as you should have noticed, I am very strict and biased at the same time. Here are all the scores. So, for the top 5, on 5th place is Vietnamese vein. Drastic changes on the vein language have dire consequences. Then on 4th place are American vein and French vein. Then on 3rd place, Brazilian vein. We have a tie on 2nd place. It's Japanese vein and Latino vein. Then on 1st place, I award the testy Indonesian vein. Congratulations! By the way, there's this one line from the Indonesian dub that is quite different from how the original vein said it. But in my opinion, it was still in character. For comparison, here's the original.
What to do if you've injured his face?
Then here's the dub.
What to do if you've injured his face? His face.
The original is sassier and has more sex appeal, but the Indonesian version is more hilarious. Doing this video was a lot of fun, but also a lot of work. But I love this scene so much that I was actually overthinking about it in unhealthy ways. I'll tell you guys the other stuff about it next time. But how about you? Did you enjoy the video? And what is your opinion about my villainous persona? Those who have seen my earlier videos would know that I'm not like that. Usually. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again. Take care.
The youth these days don't seem to know their manners.
The youth these days don't seem to know their manners.
What to do if you've injured his face?
What to do if you injured his face? Ang arte niya sobra, nakakaloka!